Hello, darlings, and welcome to another Galactic Mayan astrology report. And welcome to the new spin. As of Monday, the 8th of July, 2024, we are entering into the new 9 moonths, 260-day human gestation evolution cycle. And that's what the Dreamspell Galactic Mayan calendar focuses on as our primary experience of time. So this is what all these reports are about. These 13-day cycles, these wave spells, are contained within the 260-day codex. And on the 8th of July, 2024, we reboot into a whole new cycle of time. That's our human being evolutionary cycle. And then we also have this 13 moon cycle, which is what we experience as we journey around the sun. So we have the experience of evolution as a collective, as a planetary body, and that takes a year. And then we have the experience of evolutionary cycle as a personal cycle, as a human being cycle, which is a 9-month journey. So Galactic New Year will begin at the end of July. More to come on that very soon. But for now, we are in the beginning. So the first wave spell of the 260-day cycle. Oh, firstly, thank you so much to everybody that bought diaries. I sold out. How good's that? So there's been a lot of people, that have aligned with the Galactic Mayan waves this year. And I know a big part of my mission, particularly in the UK, is to galactivate people. And I've got a number of events that are going to be coming up. And I'm going to be running the Cosmic Clock again online for the beginning of the new year. So from the 26th of July, there's going to be a 20-day online course to support you to align with the vibration of the Galactic Mayan calendar. So all of that will come to soon. I'm pretty frazzed, so I'm not going to go into it right now. Because the previous Wavespell, the wrapping up of the 9-month cycle was really fucking intense. I think it was really intense for a lot of us. So I'm feeling really tired, and it's important for me to kind of bring this transmission because it's a new spin. And I'm making it a few days before because we've got the kids this weekend, so I won't have bandwidth to do it over the weekend. So there's loads of shit bubbling, and I'll tell you more about it. I might just upload a random video about all of the things that are coming, as well as mentioning them in the future videos. But for now, this new cycle is in the sign of Red Dragon, which is what I am. The first of the 20 signs is the archetype of the Red Dragon. So it's all about the beginning, the primordial, the first, the ancient, the innate. So for the next 13 days, not only are we setting up the rest of our 260-day cycle, not only are we receiving the codes, the little imprints in our reality about what it is that we're going to be evolving during this particular 9-month evolutionary spin in terms of our personal experience and embodiment of reality, we're also journeying for these 13 days with the Red Dragon. So red is always about awakening and beginning, but because this is the first wave spell, this is the ultimate birth window. And usually these ideas of birthing, the birthing aspects of ourselves, and it might be that there are things that we're birthing in the world too, but really the energy of the Red Dragon is the energy of mother. So where to start? It's always interesting speaking into the energy that is my own. So I'm a red crystal dragon, so my archetype is Red Dragon, and I was born within the Wavespell, the 13-day process of the white dog. So in some ways it's like I can speak into it more, but in other ways there's going to be pieces of it that are blind spots to me because it's where the majority of my shadow is. But what I will say, and I guess we'll start with the shadow, because I always find it easier in some ways to speak into that. So the shadow of red dragon, because it's about mother, because it's about nurture, like the whole core piece of red dragon is nurture. How do we nurture ourselves? How do we nurture one another? How do we nurture the world? And sometimes, you know, this energy of nurture, you know, we can be like popping off nurturing one aspect of that, but really struggling to nurture in other ways. So it's like, how do we, in a balanced way, nurture all of the pieces, including ourselves? But what that kind of gives rise to, which is the shadow of red dragon, is this codependency piece. And my feeling within it is, you know, there's other pieces of red dragon that will come in a second, but it feels important just to speak this now. So if we are working with the theme of mother, you know, we existed as part of another being, you know, and I know that I've said this before, but it's like, you know, this whole notion of like oneness and people being like, fucking hell, but we literally were one being with our mother, you know, like we existed as part of another being, and then we separated. And regardless of your mother story, regardless of any other piece, this is the separation that we all share. We were part of another being, and then we separated into being an individual being. And the grief of that is real. The difficulty of that is real, you know, and just this whole like, human experience, and I think this is why it's the first sign, hinges upon that. You know, the primary characteristic that is shared by all of humanity is that we were one being, and then we separated from that one being. We had all of our needs met. We were fully, you know, I know that our mothers may not have been treating their body, our body very well, but in terms of we were in an environment that we were receiving what we needed to receive as much as we possibly could to develop into a human that was then birthed. So there's this kind of primal wounding that we all share that is kind of held within the red dragon energy. But equally, on the flip side of that, there is this primal imprint of oneness, of connection, of nurture, of this divine innate trust for our needs to be met. And this is what the red dragon invites us into. It's about trust. So this core thing of like the nurture, if we take it even deeper, what we arrive at is trust, you know. And the more that we trust reality, the more that we trust life, the more that we can open our hearts to trust one another. And this is something that I'm really journeying now, you know. Like, I've spent most of my life single. I've had like 2 sort of significant relationships, and the one that I'm in now is kind of taking me deeper than I've ever been before. And the more that I open to trust through journeying the things that are in the way of my ability to trust, the more able I am to receive love, to experience love, to live in love. So the kind of one of the taglines of Red Dragon is making choices without guarantees. And this is another thing, you know, anybody that knows me and has kind of, you know, witnessed me over the years, you know, I never really know what's happening. And I guess that energy just seemed to be shifting a little bit. But there is this kind of, you know, you deep dive into the unknown, and what you need to receive and where you need to go, you will be. And this is kind of a characteristic of a lot of the red energy, you know, it's the kind of, we don't know until we know. And somebody that I used to journey quite closely with used to refer to it as like you plug and play. So like plug in the stick, do the thing. So the energy of Red Dragon is really kind of teaching us to rebirth ourselves, but rebirth our original connection to source. So source was mother, you know, and we had a connection to mother that was so innate. And then we have to journey the grief of what it is to be that separate. And this is why the shadow is the codependency, because there's this desire to merge in this realm, which isn't healthy in this reality, because what we're doing in this reality is we're experiencing the whole simulation is about, you know, being an individual being. You know, we have these individual bodies, and yeah, we can have sex, and yeah, we can have these moments where, you know, even in birthing, where we can experience like a merging, but it's a temporary merging that then brings more individual aspects of life. But this is the difficulty, you know, it's like we're trying to merge on this level, but really what we're being asked to do is like merge with the earth. It kind of links into what I was saying in the last Wavespell report. I was talking about how, like, if you were to kind of separate a room into pieces for everybody to take, if somebody was taking up more space, they'd be taking up space from other people. Whereas if we're on the vertical, everyone can expand infinitely upward and infinitely downward. And this is the same premise. It's like, okay, how can we merge with the earth? How can we become a creature of the earth? How can we merge with the divine? How can we become a creature of spirit, a being of spirit in the oneness of spirit? But in this realm, we are individual human beings. And that's what makes it beautiful, because it's like, okay, so if we are in these individual components for now, in order to relate in healthy, balanced ways, we have to have these boundaries and agreements. We have to honor one another. We have to be able to collaborate with one another. So really what we're talking about is nurture. So within this 13 days, you know, I invite you to explore the themes of nurture, you know. And for me, I've struggled with addiction throughout my life. You know, it's something that's always been present. I had crazy trauma in terms of mother, a lot of love, but then, yeah, and then a lot of trauma. So I really, you know, I can really feel that I do have the red dragon code to the fucking core. And I, you know, it's always going to be a journey, like all of these things are for all of us. It's always going to be a journey. But we are in this birthing window. We're in a birthing window, we're in a nurture window, but we're also in this moment of returning to the primal, returning to the like primal sacred. And it's not that we've ever not been connected to that, but it's in terms of like how we process reality. You know, and if we look at the rest of the creatures on the planet, the way that they exist is still really integrated with instinct, whereas we've become most integrated with mind and planning and forecasting. And it's really difficult for us to coexist in that and in the synchronistic flow. And this is why, you know, because I've got quite an active mind, and I do like, you know, I'm quite good at organizing. You know, it's a big part of one of my human gifts. But this is why for me it's so important that I have time and space that's completely unpredictable and unscheduled. I need to go into the unknown regularly and not have any boundaries around that, so that I can return to synchronicity. And this is what the invitation is for all of us, no matter how structured your life may be or needs to be, or how regimented you are in terms of clock time or dates, or, you know, you have to make that time where you haven't pre-constructed the moment, because what that allows is for spirit to do that. It gives space for spirit to step in, for your higher self to have the reins. And when we do that, then we're able to stay in alignment in the same way as like when birds are, is it called murmurating? You know, it's instinctual. We have to return to instinctual being, and instinctual being is a really difficult space to get to when we're fucking busy, when we've got too much on. And this is why it's so key for us to like block out time that's for nothingness. And I don't mean nothingness in terms of like you sit and binge watch something. Rest's really important, and if that's how you rest, that's amazing. But I mean blocking out time of like no fucking structure. I'm going to go somewhere random and I'm going to see what happens. It's like my ultimate happy place. So the unknown, making the choices without guarantees, not knowing what's coming, developing trust, dropping into nurture, and rebirth. These are the themes of this Wavespell, this time, this reboot. So tonight, if you're watching this on the first day of the spin, we've got a new spin party that's happening. So that's on Monday the 8th. I'm going to put the link below. There's a suggested donation of, I think it's £9. But just come, you know, if you don't have the funds to be able to pay. And we're gonna really kind of open to these energies and just mark, you know, we're gonna do a little ceremony, we're gonna do some ecstatic dance. And you know, when I say ecstatic dance, it's just free form movement, because you know, again, if we are going to drop into the instinctual way of being in this reality, it's about the body, it's the body wisdom, it's the communication that comes from feeling and sensation and impression, as opposed to mind. And when we're able to sort of drop into movement, and I feel particularly, you know, for people like I've been throughout my life that feel a little bit more inhibited when they're being perceived, you know, to dance at home, to move at home, where you can turn your fucking camera off and just be with you in a held space with other people, really gives that space for movement and instinctual embodiment. And once we develop a practice of instinctual embodiment, you know, we're practicing it, and that then transfers into life. And yeah, there are lots of different practices that we can do, but the instinctual, the somatic, the like response to what's there, that is totally individualized to where we are because it's coming from us, opens a very different quality of a practice in terms of then how we relate to reality from our own personal sphere. And this whole energy of like being our own guide, because we are our own guide, and it's so important to remember that. You know, one of the biggest initiations of my lifetime this time, which really needed to happen because it's then kind of supported me with everything that I do with young people and everything that I teach in terms of working with adults. Yeah, this thing of, you know, if we give our power away to people, if we kind of turn around and we're like, you know, what should I do right now, we're going to get fucking burned, man. And there are a lot of people that exploit that vulnerability within the world of spirituality. There's a lot of fucking dogma, and there's a lot of profitable vulnerability. There's a lot of feelings of lostness that can be hoodwinked into being parts of communities that are extremely hierarchical and need to keep you in that hierarchy, you know, to create a consistent income. And yeah, there's been burns, man. There's been so many burns. But yeah, so that's, yeah, come to the event is basically what I'm saying. If you're watching this before or on the 8th, it's at 8 p.m. UK time for a couple of hours. I'll just put the Zoom link below. So yeah, it's time to be instinctual. It's time, you know, there's this moment on the planet is so filled with information. We are fucking bombarded by information all of the time, and the exhaustion of that is like off the charts. And that's before we've even started doing, you know, just being in receipt of so many pieces of information and ideas and opinions and people and all of it is just fucking exhausting, isn't it? And it's really easy then to just get caught here, like chewing it all, trying to understand it all, trying to figure it all out. But it's like, fuck me, you know, when we go here, the space, and when we're in here, what we can access that bypasses all of that information, like, is the space between all of that information that is synchronicity, you know, that is accessed through the instinctual ways of being on this planet that people used to live by. This is the mission of now. You know, the mission of now is to return to that instinctual human with a new upgrade, you know, with all of the awareness that we've got, with all of the learning that we've got, with all the wisdom that we've got, with the boundaries that we've got, with all of the different things that we've got, how do we then drop back into being instinctual beings that trust reality, that trust synchronicity, that are brave enough to follow synchronicity and know that synchronicity isn't just going to fucking lead us to being rich. Synchronicity is going to lead us to evolution, and that's where we need to go. In order to be free, we have to break our own chains. You know, it's not that anybody else is fucking holding the chains. They might have given them to us, but it's us then that keep them all in place. So it's down to us, you know, and synchronicity is going to guide us toward those edges so that we can fucking break through them. And once we've broken through them, you know, we act as a living transmission of like, you can break through them. And yeah, we might support each other with that. And I think that's a really, you know, it's such a beautiful thing. Recently, I've been in such one of the biggest deaths I've ever been through. And, you know, the amount of beautiful women in my community that were there to kind of hold me and guide me and support me in such empowering ways, in ways that were like, look at your fucking chains. And I've totally got you, and you've got you, and you can break through them. And then we come deeper into our bodies, deeper into reality, deeper into instinct. So happy new spin, my loves. And I might put up a video before the next wave spell, but maybe I won't, but there'll be lots of exciting things to share with you in the next wave spell. And yeah, I send you so much love. And if you are around tonight, if you're watching it on the day, but on Monday the 8th, come to the party with us. Big loves.